I was extremely proud of my spelling ability. Anytime, any place, you name the word, I've seen it, I can spell it. So it came as a huge shock to me when I lost the second grade spelling bee to Lauren Wang after she spelled the word accountable correctly. Of course, I immediately fell in love with her. But more importantly, I swore that I would never let anyone get the better of me in spelling again. Now, Lauren moved away the next year, and I never saw her again, but I stayed true to spelling. And that's why 5 years later, I found myself in the final round of my middle school spelling bee. It was just me and one other kid. He had just gotten a word wrong, but that's not enough for me to win. I have to then get a word right in the crazy world of spelling bees. The word they give me is eulogy, and a smile blooms on my face because I know how to spell that word. I know it as well as I know the eulogy I'm about to give this kid when I grind him into the dust. So I say, okay, E-U-L-O-G-Y, eulogy. Crowd goes wild. There's like 5 people, but they did clap for me. And the fanfares go off in my head. They congratulate me. I'm offered the choice of a dictionary or a thesaurus. And a spelling champion does not need a dictionary, but I could see in this kid's eyes, he really wanted that dictionary. So just to spite him, I chose the dictionary, stuck him with the thesaurus, regretted it ever since. But it wasn't time to celebrate. It was not time for the parade because I found out that a few short weeks later, I was due at the county-wide middle school spelling bee. I walked in there, and I was intimidated. In front of me were the 20 of the county's best spellers, and these kids, every one seemed a little nerdier than me. Thicker glasses, pockets better protected. But I reassured myself. I said, it's okay. I probably know more Star Wars trivia than them. So we lined up on the stage, and the first kid got called up. He had a pretty easy word. He sat back down. I was the second one up. I went up there, sweating bullets, my hands shaking, barely able to breathe, wearing a non-clip-on tie for the first time in my life. And the word they gave me was rehearsal. Again, a smile just bloomed on my face. I knew this word. I knew this word well because I had just been to rehearsal yesterday for Shakespeare Club, where I played a tree. And I stood and waved my arms majestically as a branch would in the breeze, as majestically as I was about to spell this word. And I said, okay, R-E-H-E-A-R-S-A-L. And the judges said, incorrect. Well, I thought back, no, I'm pretty sure I spelled it right. So I said, no, I was right. I was correct. I can't say the room went silent. Spelling bees are pretty quiet as a rule. But a hush fell over the crowd, and the judges looked at one another, and they said, no, you had 2 R's at the second part where there was an R. And I said, no, I didn't. I just stuttered. That was just like a cough. I didn't say 2 R's. I know how to spell rehearsal. This is an easy word. Everyone on the stage can spell rehearsal. Come on. They didn't see it that way. Nevertheless, I persisted. And so they sent someone up who guided me off of the stage. I realized my goose was cooked, so I gave up. And they sat me down in the auditorium. They told me I couldn't leave until the round was over. And I was looking at all the other competitors still on the stage. They all had the same expression on their faces, a grimace, as they hoped that if their time came, they would have a little more grace. So I sat there and I stewed. And I thought about how I had let my school down, and I had let my mom down. I had let myself down. It's such an easy word. And as the humiliation washed over me, I felt hot tears of shame and anger coming forward. And I tried to choke them down, but I was going to lose it. And I felt someone's hand on my shoulder. And I turned around, and there was this older guy in a suit and tie, and he smiled at me, and he said, I think you were right. I think you were right to challenge them. I think you spelled that word right, and they shouldn't have called you out. I didn't know what to say, but I nodded, and I turned back, and I got through the rest of that round. It took me a long time to get over that pain, and in some ways, I'm still healing. I never spelled again. But when I'm at my lowest and it feels like the world is against me, I think back to that day, and I think back to the kind words of a stranger who reached out and saved a shattered child. And so, to that man, wherever he is now, I want to say now what I could not say then. THANKYOU. Thank you.